All right, well, good afternoon, everyone. It's so exciting to see you. I am pinch hitting today for Austin Regenball, our vice president. He's out ill today, so bear with me. I don't typically do this, but I'm really excited I was going to be here today and listen because I'm really excited to hear from our speakers today. In addition to all of you, we do have people on Zoom as well. So one thing we really like about this program is we have people that want to attend virtually, and then we record it so you can go and watch them. You can go to our website and watch any of our past programs. And every month we have phenomenal speakers and really great topics. In 2025, we really focused on workplace topics. So today's topic fits in line with that as well. So we're excited to hear about skills-based team management. And Garth and Paul are going to tell us all about that. But before we get started, let's maybe just go around the room and introduce yourselves and tell us just what company, just really quickly, what company you represent. Do we do this with the people on Zoom also? No, so you all get to participate. All right, so we'll start with.
Jackson, I'm the accounting department, Basco, that's consoles.
Josh Godfrey, working over at Horn Rapids RV Service and Sales.
Okay, thanks.
Kim Swancheck with Postdoc Technical Services.
Vicky Kuros from Happel.
Bill with STCU, I'll be chatting here a moment.
Yes, you will.
I'm Michael from the Goodwill Employment Connection Center.
I'm Colin from K2 Innovations.
All right, perfect. And then again, we'll get to Bill Walther is a business banking manager at STCU, and STCU has been our partner with this program for a number of years. And why don't you tell us a little bit about STCU and
Tell us that the loan rates are below 6%.
That's a wonderful lead and appreciate it. STCU, we're happy to be here, partner with the chamber to be able to put on these Ask the Expert events. And this month, like you said, we're pretty excited about strategies for hiring, leading, and reinforcing soft skills and beyond. It's nice to have Paul Casey, whom I've known for, I don't know, 15 years, something like that. And then Garth Reed, we go way back, like probably 5 minutes ago.
Maybe last year, but
Last year too, so, no, we are fortunate to have a couple of great guys here to lead this discussion today, so. STCU does our commercial and our business stuff. We have a full suite of options that are available for folks. Ag lending, commercial real estate, business loans, line of credits, merchant services, payroll stuff, a whole bunch of different options that come through with STCU, so. One other thing that we just did want to mention, you'll see these little handouts on your desk in front of you. We are having our grand opening on Thursday for our 4th location here in the Tri-Cities. So it has some times that are available for you to come by and partake in the music and the food truck and the drawings and treats that we have available for everybody. But that is our 4th location here, but it is our 50th location overall for STCU, so.
That's good.
Been big, we've been around since 1934, so no we're doing, so appreciate, thank you for letting me stand up and talk.
thank you, Bill. On Thursday, we did have a few more people join us. We were just doing quick self-introductions. If you, the 3 of you would like to introduce yourself, we'll start with you.
Sure. I'm Tony. I'm with A&A Roofing. If you have any questions, let me know.
Thank you.
My name is Nathan Gill. I am the Case Management Director at the Tri-City Union Gospel Mission.
Thanks.
And I'm Aaron Berger. I'm the Ministry Director at the Tri-City Union Gospel.
Great, thanks. We're so glad you could join us. And Jessica Crudup is also with STCU. She's the Advocacy and Impact Specialist, Manager, Director, Coordinator, Specialist. All right. And then from our team, we have Karen and Christina as well. So I'm going to get to our speakers because they've got so much to teach us today. So we're going to start with the introduction of Paul Casey. He's been a professional speaker for over 28 years, equipping and coaching leaders and teams to spark breakthrough success. An ACC certified coach with the International Coaching Federation, as well as a master trainer and a member of the National Speakers Association. Paul was honored as an Entrepreneur of the Year in the Tri-Cities. Through his company, Growing Forward Services, Paul partners with clients to transform their vision, habits, and lives, contributing daily inspirational messages on local radio, writing for the Tri-Cities Area Journal of Business and through his books and newsletter. He inspires individuals and leaders through seminars, team building retreats, coaching, and keynotes. Paul is married and has 2 adult children and has lived in the Tri-Cities for over 25 years. For fun, he enjoys golfing, good job, hiking and reading, which fuel his passion for adding value to people. So please help me welcome Paul. We also have Garth Reed. Garth is the president and principal facilitator of ExperienceBetter LLC, where he equips leaders and teams to cut the busy work, focus on what matters, and create workplaces where people thrive. As a certified master trainer with the Association for Talent Development, Garth delivers signature programs like Flow Over Efficiency and Building a Development Plan that Inspires, and workshops such as Crucial Conversations and the 5 Disciplines of a Team. We've all heard of that. Known for blending humor, practicality, and proven methods, he brings energy and clarity to training sessions, keynotes, and coaching engagements. Outside of work, Garth enjoys running, good coffee, and reading, which fuel his passion for helping others work better, lead better, and live better. So take it away, Paul and Garth.
All right, so Paul and I were talking beforehand, like both of us stand up a lot when we talk. And I'm like, and then we're like, I think Paul said he's gonna stand up, but I'm gonna try something different. And I'm gonna break out the mold. I'm gonna try sitting down and we'll see how it goes. So bear with me. And also I noticed as I was coming back up here, Paul had his sleeves rolled up. I'm like, that is a good idea. That is a really good idea. Partly because it's fall. And so, get these wonderful warm afternoons. I love fall. Anybody else love fall? Big fan of fall out there. All right, give me some of your favorite fall things. Come on, what are they?
Well,
Football. The Seahawks, the only Seattle team to do anything yesterday. Yeah, killing me. All right, other things, fall.
Pumpkin spice.
Oh, somebody was gonna say it. I knew it. Pumpkin spice, everything, like.
I said it for my wife. She said, make sure you say that.
Nice. Others, anything else?
Cooler weather.
Yeah, absolutely. Those crisp, cool evenings and mornings, the warm afternoons. It is wondrous. I love it.
Raking leaves.
Oh, raking leaves. Yeah, we get the chores, right? The raking leaves, the cleaning out the garden. We had a volunteer squash in our garden this year, and I discovered something interesting. My dog Beacon, she loves to eat green butternut squash, like the whole thing, the whole squash. She was very disappointed when I cleaned that. Anyway, so with fall, make sure I'm gonna go to the next slide here. There we go. With fall, we do have a lot of chores, right? You gotta clean things up, we gotta do the raking the leaves, the last lawn mowing, and cleaning out the garden. And we do all these things to prepare for winter, but we also do them to prepare for spring. Right, that's the big part of this, is we're doing this not because there's gonna be snow on the ground, but because we wanna be ready for next spring. And hiring, to me, is a lot like that. When you have somebody leave, it's time to change and look at that next season. How many of you right now have a position, somebody you know is leaving, you're looking to hire? Anybody looking to hire? Got one back there. All right. How many of you have had to hire within the last couple of years? Yeah, more hands go up. Everybody has to hire occasionally, right? How does that go for you? What's your normal process? Right up front, remind me your name.
I don't hire anybody. I'm just a worker.
Oh, okay. Tony.
I just love to learn.
Okay, cool. Tony, how do you think it goes when you gotta hire somebody?
Well, if they're anything like me, I'm trouble, so they're always enrollments are always tough. Have to do this, have to do that, but I'm sure if they have some sort of a system or, I think it goes a lot smoother, but it's a pain hiring new employees. It always is, training them and equipping them. And for the first 90 days, you might not, you don't know if they're going to stick around or not. You invest all this time into them and then.
Yeah, it's a process, right? It's a whole process. Everybody's got their hiring process. One thing that I want to make clear today is, we're not going to talk about your process specifically, because everybody's got a process that probably works for them. What I hope that we can impart to you is perhaps a different mindset to go along with that process. And so the way we're going to do this today, I'm going to talk about hiring and how to set yourself up for success in hiring. Paul's going to come in and talk about the onboarding piece and kind of keeping that team going, keeping that team building piece. even into the performance conversations. We're gonna talk about that at the end, and I'm gonna wrap things up with some tools you can use when perhaps those performances might go awry. Because everybody's had bad conversations, we've all screwed those up from time to time. So we're gonna talk about some tools you can use, and we'll wrap it up with some Q&A. All right, so hiring. So we talked about seasons. A lot of times what happens with hiring is we look at the ghost of the last person. Also, it's October, it's Halloween season. I have a ghost cat in my house. She shows up from time to time, and I'm guessing for those of you who had to hire somebody recently, if you had somebody you replaced, you probably saw that chair and you're like, what do I need to do? I need to replace that person. But anytime you need to hire somebody, one of the key things is to think about it as an opportunity to change, an opportunity to reset your team. I like to think about teams as ecosystems. Make sure that slide actually changed real quick. Teams to me they're not families, they're not systems, they're not processes. Teams to me are ecosystems. They live and they grow together, they're organic. It's like your garden in your backyard, or if you have that wonderful bee, butterfly, whole backyard experience where they can come in, you got all different plants and everything, it's really awesome. You have different plants that grow well together and different plants that don't grow well together. Just like you have teammates that live well together and don't live well together, don't work well together. And you know that, and you try to set that up. Anytime you have somebody that has left, it's an opportunity to rethink your entire ecosystem as a company. Like, what do I need to do? Are things going along smoothly? Do I just need to replace that one plant? Oh man, this plant died, it got old, it happens. Do I just need to replace that exact same plant? Or do I want to do something different? It's kind of like coming up with a landscaping plan. Oh, my landscaping plan looks awesome, or maybe I want to redo it. So when you think about ecosystems, what are some of the big, broad categories that you think of when you think about your backyard? What do you got in your backyard right now? What are some of the big categories? Somebody's gonna say grass, I know they all. Probably a grass in your backyard, I know I do. Weeds, yeah, absolutely, man, I got a whole back corner of weeds. Anything else? What are some of the other things in your backyard? Rock, absolutely, trees, absolutely, you've got different groupings. And when we think about team ecosystems, they really come into 3 different groupings, I think of anyway. And that's the soft skills, the organizational skills, and also the technical skills. I'm guessing each of you in your organizations, your companies, and even if you're a solo entrepreneur like myself, then you get to be all 3 of these things rolled into one, because you're a team of one and you're the owner and everything else. But you have all of these things in your organization. And so we have soft skills, organizational skills, and technical skills. Soft skills. Right off the bat, I just want to say, who loves the term soft skills? Yeah, no, but nobody loves that term, but it is our common vernacular. So that's why I'm using it today. It's because that's what everybody calls it. They're not soft, they're just people skills, but that's what everybody says. So we're going to say soft skills today. Soft skills are those communication and connection pieces. Technical skills are those hard skills. Like if you're in the RV business, what would some of your technical skills be?
Diagnosis, electrical diagnosis, identification, those kind of things.
Yeah, I love those. How about organizational skills? Maybe got some good examples of organizational type skills in organization? Definitely, yeah. Workflow, yes, that process system, that optimization, absolutely. Now, in each of our organizations, we probably don't need these to be in perfect balance. If you look at the 3 circles I have here, yeah, you've got them even, but that doesn't mean that they all need to be even. If you had to do a diagnosis of your organization right now, what would you say is your strongest area? Technical, soft, organization skills? And go ahead and just shout it out. Technical, soft, organization, you said organization. Thank you. Yeah. Any others? Technical. Why? Why would you say that technical is your?
We only got 1 employee that's technical.
No, all right. That's a great reason. That is a fantastic reason. I love that a lot. Yeah. None of these are ones that have to be there all the time, 100%. A lot of times with your company ecosystem, it depends on where you are and what you're doing. So if you're trying to drive innovation, technical skills are probably going to lead the way. If you need to have more connection and need to have more of that team building aspect, you probably want the soft skills to lead there. And if you're really trying to grow a lot, that's where your organizational skills are really gonna come into play. So with your organization, depending on where you are at that point, tying back that back into hiring, it depends on what you need. Are you very steady state? You're doing awesome? Okay, maybe I just need those soft skills so we can continue to grow as a team. Are we trying to innovate and grow new parts of our business? Ooh, I might need some new technical skills with this hire. Or are we at a place where we are growing like crazy? And so we might need some more of those organizational skills because we got to figure out our process and systems so everybody's not just running around willy-nilly. All right, let's tie this back into hiring and balance here. Oh, before we get there, I jumped ahead a slide. So we talked about skills, we talked about the technical, soft, and organizational skills, but that's only a piece. And this is actually where my analogy about ecosystems breaks down. So with the skills, then we also have to layer in the culture. Everybody's got a culture in the organization, right? You have a specific culture. Can you name exactly what that culture is? Right off the top, can you feel it? Tell me in 3 words what your culture is back there. You got permission?
Yeah, collaborative
Collaborative.
culture.
Love it, absolutely. Anybody else culture? If not, that's okay. So culture, why it breaks down is culture is in general what people do when it gets difficult, what organizations do when it gets difficult. Where the skills are how they do things, the culture is how they do things when they get difficult. And with plants in the backyard, if you have those plants growing and things get tough, like in a drought condition, those plants are going to be all for themselves. But with your culture, we have people. And people can think outside of being plants because we're not all plants. At least I don't think we are. There was a weird movie about that one time, Body Snatchers, something like that. I'm seeing blank stares and now I'm gonna feel really, really old all of a sudden. I'm not that old, I swear. Just the gray hair for my kids, my dog. Anyway, but we're not plants as people. And so we can think about what do we want to establish as our culture. So while the skills might fit into how does that garden ecosystem fit around our team, our culture is how do we want our team to operate when things get difficult. And so when you're layering in with hiring, there's 2 things to really keep in mind. What are the skills that I want? Do I need soft, technical, or organizational? But then what do I want from a culture fit? And which of those is more important? For example, if you have a really, really strong culture, maybe you want to hire for team. Or for skills. But if you're like, ooh, I really need these skills right now, maybe you're gonna hire for skills because of that. Or maybe it's like, hey, I can train this person up. We've got a great training program, and maybe you want to hire for culture. I grew up as a Seahawks fan. So I've hated the Patriots for a lot of years. Because they were our arch nemesis. And there were some great football games between Pete Carroll and Bill Belichick. But I have to say, the Patriots had a strong culture. So they knew that whatever skills they could bring in were going to fit in because the rest of the culture was already established. So that's one way to think about your team is what's the strongest part right now? Is it skills or culture? So when you're hiring, what do I want to fit into those different parts and pieces? Do I want to fit in skills or culture? All right, and when you can match those together, that is where you get that alignment. That's what we're going for, right? You want the nice skill fit and the culture fit, match those things together. All right, I've been talking quite a bit, so it's time for you to do a little bit of work. So I want you to just think about perhaps somebody you want to hire, what your team is right now. I know there's not a lot of people that are looking to hire. So maybe think about if you needed to fill a role. Who would that role be? Go ahead and picture that person. And then just think about what do I have on my team right now? Do a team assessment. This can be simple. This is something you should do before you hire anybody, anytime. You do this as a whiteboard with a cup of coffee, highly encourage the coffee. I'm a big coffee fan. And just script this out. What do I need based on what I have? So you can just go ahead and mark that out. Okay, do my people fit more in the skills? Or in the technical, in the soft, the organizational skills, who are those people? Just go ahead and write their names on there. Don't get too detailed, don't get lost in the details, just keep it simple, that will help you to match what you actually need in your organization. Like I said, it's time for you to do something. So think of that role you want to fill. Think about your team right now, and I want you just off the cuff, turn to somebody next to you and say, one, where do I think my organization's strongest? What role would I like to fill? And would I hire more for skill or culture? This should just be off the cuff. Go ahead and partner up. We can do a group of 3 if you want. So I can get a little conversation going. So you don't just listen to Paul and I talk about it.
I'm thinking about my.
Yeah. Yeah. I do is talk about the methodology. So like right now, pretend that we want to fill this or not, we're right now, we're not figuring out a. So like if she does that. I mean, I'm not another manager that hired Russia. And I the other way around.
So, you know, you're. Like for instance.
Yeah. People are agreeing a lot because they've been trying to. You can tell some earlier. They have, and we kind of do surveys, trying to.
All right, so I don't need to have too much time to wrap up this conversation.
Yeah.
All right, I'd love to get a couple examples, just, you know, what kind of role did you want to fill? Did you lean towards more skill or culture for your hiring?
Skill.
Brave, skill? What type of role were you thinking about filling?
I would need an additional programmer to
Program.
kind of allow me to move more into the sales side.
Cool, love it. Any others?
I think mine is like a balance of skill for a little bit. So if I were to add a new position to one of the offices, then I'm looking for somebody who can kind of organize or be in the peer group of helping organize, because the lead has like be the no guy for a lot of things. And so being able to help the rest of the group develop the programs they want to do with their case management services. So there's a lot of people skills involved, but also you gotta be organized.
Yeah, makes sense. Thank you. One more, anybody else? They're like, no, don't look at me. Don't look at me.
I think for us, we're looking at, probably, it's, for me, culture is always first. Always, I'll always hire for culture. We can teach anything else. We can learn together. But we need an innovator in the next position that we're gonna be hiring for. We're gonna really develop a new program. So not sure where that would fit. Technical skills, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're probably looking at a combination of all of those, because the innovators, they gotta build the team around their innovation, technical, organizational, and soft, so, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, so once you have filled that team, move on, there we go. Every role is an opportunity. It's a time to think about, what does my ecosystem look like? What do I want to do with my ecosystem? So couple of key takeaways, we'll skip right through this, so Paul can get talking. But just know that every hire you make can either reestablish or disrupt whatever you're trying to do as a team. So I encourage you before you're just like, oh my God, I have to hire somebody, I'm dying, I can't keep doing this stuff. Take that step back, take a pause, and really think about what is it I need for our team? Do I need skills, do I need culture, and how is it gonna impact our entire team ecosystem? And once you're there, it's time to actually get the real work going, get them on board. So with that, Paul,
All right.
over to you.
Thanks, Garth. So yeah, now you have them on board, right? So let's be really intentional. A lot of companies struggle with a very comprehensive onboarding program. Others are doing it fantastic. I've culminated a bunch of stuff. Gave you an extra handout here, and we can get this to you if you're watching online. And I would do all of these things if I was in a leadership chair right now as a CEO or an executive director. Let me just hit a few of them because they do deal with the culture aspect the most. Soon as they say yes, you give them the offer, they accept the offer, shoot them a welcome letter right away. And in that welcome letter, you're already starting to plant the seeds for your culture right in there, right? You're gonna say, and we're all about this. We're so glad you're joining our team. We think you're a great fit for that. And off you go. Then send them a welcome email the week before they start. Again, another place to plant another seed. We're all about customer service at our company. We're all about innovation at our company, and we are ready for you to add to our team. And so you're building this like anticipation of this person coming on the team, and the person's starting to be like, wow, they really wanted me. Like this is great, which starts them off on the right foot. Other things you can do is required reading. Now, you wouldn't do this if the rest of the team hasn't read a book, but let's say like Raving Fans or The 5 Dysfunctions of the Team or some book that the whole rest of the culture knows. Now we got this new person coming in. Dave Ramsey says when you get hired there, you get a box of books, right? It's because he wants them all speaking the same language. So the new person hasn't gone through the team building with everybody else. So they might have to do a little reading ahead of time to all be at the same language, be talking the same language of everyone else. On the first day, you want to be ready for it. Have you ever taken a job where they were just sort of fumbling around like, oh yeah, you were starting today. You know what? And they haven't changed your name card on the desk and your computer doesn't work yet, right? And your email isn't up and you're just like, wow, that's wah, wah, you know, they weren't really ready for me. And then you have to go cannibalize an office chair from down the hallway. Because, you know, when somebody leaves, everybody cannibalizes their office, you know, and takes their stapler. So you want to be all ready for that person. And when they come in and welcome them with a gift, with some swag. Hopefully that swag has some of the core values on the swag, right? Your tagline for your company is another way to get the culture out. And give them their favorite beverage too, right? Because we're coffee guys.
It's always
right?
coffee. Whatever the question is, it's always coffee.
I put in your hand out there, the first day survival kit. That's just sort of a fun way. Have the person who's really great with hospitality on your team, put that together, right? It makes them feel very welcome. In-person orientation meeting with the CEO or executive director. I really recommend that on day one, that the CEO or the executive director spends time with the new hire or the group of new hires, and this is their chance to share the mission of the organization, the vision, the values, a little bit of the history possibly of the organization. And this is like heart to heart with the head person at the company. And this is your big shot to start inculcating them to the values and the skills that you want them to have. So that's a really big deal. And maybe even putting in like the key expectations you have of every employee in this company, including this new hire. Then maybe take them to lunch with the staff on the first day. You know, the staff that they're going to be surrounded with. That's sort of a fun thing to do. And I gave you some other tips in there as well. After the first day, you want to tell the rest of the world this person's been hired. Well, not the rest of the world, but I mean your constituents, right? The Journal of Business actually has a place where you can put in a new hire, you know, and that's like free advertising. That's awesome, right? You can actually put it out through your e-newsletter system, whatever that is, that we have a new hire, and possibly even to the vendors or other people that you do business with. Put that out far and wide and say, this is another person contributing to our core values or our core services here. Assign them a mentor. I put retention champion on there because, as you said, Tony, like 90 days, are they going to make it? You know, nowadays it's a little scary that people even make it 90 days. So if you attach,
I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
Should we change that from 90 and short it down at all, or is it 90 is like the great, like that's the sweet spot? I just don't know.
well, if you have a mentor, I'm saying it's gonna help you. Because that person's gonna sort of walk along with that
Sorry to
person
interrupt.
and hope that they stay for, you know, a little bit longer, because this one person is fully devoted, not fully devoted, but you know what I mean, they have a big heart to help this person succeed and get them into the culture, and this is how we do business around here, which is another phrase for what culture is. And so a mentor's gonna hopefully keep them for a little bit longer. Team building with them, yeah, jump in, go ahead.
I'll interrupt
Sure,
you.
yeah.
So just
Hang on.
please interrupt. Yeah,
Yep.
so part of this is, Paul and I are up here, we prepared some materials we want to share with you. But please interrupt us. I
Yeah,
think both of us
Yeah,
prefer
sure.
like having a conversation. So anytime you're like, hey, I got a question, you're like, that's dumb. You guys are totally wrong. Please let us know about that. And same goes for the people on Teams. I don't know if you can
Zoom,
see
yeah.
or on Zoom, sorry, on Zoom. I don't know if you can see the chat, but if there's something that somebody chats in, let us know. So
Thank
I'll
you.
make sure we're not forgetting the people. on
Yeah, yeah,
Zoom.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
thank you.
Very cool, very cool. Team build, because when you add a new player to the team, it's like you have a new team. You have to really view it that way, that now the dynamics are different with this new person. I like to say it's the great time to go over your values again, because you're gonna say you're doing it for the new person, but you're actually doing it for the people that are still with you. They need the reminder. So it's sort of a little coy way to get the values back on the table in front of your team by saying it's for the new person. One-to-ones I put in there, meaning like with the senior leadership team, anybody that maybe is a skip level above, it'd be great if they could spend a few minutes with them to see that, like, wow, they talk the talk here. Like all the senior leaders are saying the same things. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so that's onboarding. So now they're into the lifeblood of the company, and I'm gonna encourage you to have an individualized development plan for every employee on your team, an IDP. It's usually based on their job description or KPIs, key performance indicators, that you want everyone to, or that position to play out to be successful. So I gave you an example, handed up that says 1-year goal on here. And so there are a few sections of it. One of them is goal setting. They put a goal on there that they're gonna go after this year based on their job description. Then there's like challenges, because as soon as you set a goal, resistance comes calling, right? So we want to see if we can get ahead of some of the resistance on that. On the back, you'll see what support does this person need to get this goal done. Do they need to go to training? Do they need more face time with the CEO? What do they need? And then how will that goal be measured? How will it be measured? Because otherwise it's just sort of like, I don't know how I'm doing. I hope I'm doing okay, right? But what does success actually look like? So an IDP is a really good thing to have. Another thing to keep them going and keep the culture alive is one-to-ones with monthly coaching. How many of you do one-to-ones with your employees, or if you are an employee, you do one-to-ones with your manager in here on a regular basis? Okay, some of you are like, yeah, I wish I did it more, right? I try to get to them. They sometimes get bumped off the calendar. It's one of the best things you can do as a manager is one-to-ones, right? They've got FaceTime with you. You get to reinforce the values. You get to hear their questions. You see, I've got icebreakers, relationship builder up there, because you're going to get to know them a little bit. Celebrating their wins, evaluating how it's going in their world. Do they have obstacles? And then check-ins, helping them succeed. So I've got a one-to-one little cheat sheet for you here. If you're like, all I do is say, like, how's it going? Okay, you can be more intentional than how's it going. I mean, how's it going is a good start, right? But this will give you 7 or 8 agenda items that you can put on your one-to-ones that reinforce the culture and the values and get to know that employee better. Performance appraisals, then it sort of culminates. You know, they've set these goals, you're coaching them monthly for success, and then dun, 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 you've got the performance appraisal. Now I put up there 90 days. There's that magic number again, right? 90 days. You may want to stretch it to 120, Josh, there, because a lot of people can fake it for 90 days, but by 120, their true self really does come out. So I would encourage you to do some type of spot check at 90 to 120 to say, like, I really appreciate you are so in line with what we're trying to do here. And like, here's one area that you could take to the next level. Annual is what most people do. I put quarterly question mark because a lot of companies are going to the quarterly review system now. It's less scary. You know how many people actually are absent on their performance review day? It's actually, the number is pretty high, because people are terrified. So, I personally would not do that, because that's sort of like, that gives me something to talk about in the next, reschedule. But quarterly reviews allow for spot checks along the way to say if something's slipping, we have time to turn that around before the annual. Give them a self-evaluation. What are you gonna put in there? You're gonna actually ask questions that support your culture and support your values. So make sure you're asking questions that you want to know the answer for. And then you can, of course, share with them. Did I just do that? Okay. And then 360-degree feedback is cool. That's when other people on the team get to actually give comments anonymously about each employee. And hopefully, if there's an atmosphere of trust, then you're actually going to get really good feedback and people are going to grow. I would say do not do 360-degree reviews if there's not an atmosphere of trust in your company. Because then you know what everybody does is like, who said that about me? Who said that? Did you say that about me? Did they say that? Instead of like focusing on the growth, they're actually trying to figure out who said the negative thing about them. So just note that for performance appraisals. And then finally, team build intentionally as well. Team build intentionally. So do you have staff values? You're like, well, we got company values. Yeah, but do you have staff values? What are those? This is how we treat one another on a day-to-day basis. It's great to take your team off-site for a retreat at least once or twice a year. One of those times you can actually do this activity and come up with 5 to 7 core values for how we're going to treat one another. Yes, they're underneath the company core values, but these are now more internal for how we treat one another. So you see, I put an example up there, like this team decided to pick integrity as one of their 5 to 7 core values. Great, but what does that mean? What does that mean on this team? We do what we say we will do is a way of fleshing that out so that, oh, now I know what that means. Okay, and you put 3 to 5 we statements underneath each value, and it becomes crystal clear what your expectation is to fit with our culture here at our company. Lock them in, integrate them everywhere, and stay accountable to those values. Put them on your agendas, put signs in the conference room, put them as your signature in your email. Think about all the different ways you could put the values and your culture all around them, and then say, this is what we talk about all the time. Ongoing soft skills training. Obviously, that's what Garth and I do, so we're not trying to round up business from you today. We were just saying that we think it's super important, right? We chose a career about this because soft skills, which I like to say strong skills, soft skills are strong skills, right? We need to keep beefing those up. We can keep getting better no matter how good you think you are at relationships and emotional intelligence. You can keep getting better. So either hire someone to do that, and don't forget that they need to apply it. If you don't have money in your budget to do that, buy everybody a book and go through it together. Well, each staff meeting, do 1 chapter. If you don't have money for books, do what I call slices, which everyone has to go research in ChatGPT or on in Google and bring a blog about leadership to the table, and you're all going to talk about it together. And each of those slices makes a pie, of training for that day. So there's just little ways to do that to keep beefing up those soft skills. And then finally, incentivize what you want repeated, right? We get what we pour into, we get what we feed. So some companies do core value awards, like even as big as PN&L is around here, 6,000 people, they have core value awards. People can nominate them, and then they have a big banquet and they give out these like trophies for core value awards. Again, we're reinforcing what we really want to keep seeing. And then team celebrations for how we win together. Did you adopt some new software, right? Did you do a big trade show booth? What did you do as a team? Celebrate like how we got along during that process. Because really, if you did the thing and you hate each other afterward, was that a win? No, that really wasn't a win, right? That's not reinforcing our culture. But if you actually treat each other with respect and honor and teamwork and communication, hey, let's throw a party for that. Way to go, team. That's exactly what we're all about, even when times get tough. Like Garth said, when culture comes to the forefront is when times get tough. Okay. So speaking of reinforcing values and providing feedback, Garth, what happens when a team member's soft skills are slipping and it's affecting the culture negatively?
Oh, this becomes a difficult conversation, right?
Yeah.
Who in here has screwed up a difficult conversation? When was the last time? Last month? Last week? This morning? Anyway, we screw them up all the time. Like, I screw them. I facilitate the Crucial Conversations course, and I screw these up all the time. Like Paul said, our strong skills are ones that we have to continue to work on and continue to improve. And so I wanted to give you some tools to help you when those conversations turn difficult, because that's really what we're talking about. Anybody heard, or has anybody actually read the Crucial Conversations for Mastering Dialogue book before? Yeah, one back there. Can you give me the gist of what makes up a crucial conversation? You can cheat on the slide, it's okay.
Wow. So, yes, it's essentially those things up on the slide right there.
Yeah, exactly, perfect. That is a great answer. Give him a hand. Yes, use the tools that are around you, yes. Yeah, so crucial conversations happen when high stakes happen, strong emotions, and we have differing opinions.
Yes.
So it's pretty easy to know what differing opinions are, and it's pretty easy to know what strong emotions are. But what are high stakes? What are some things that you would consider high stakes when it comes to conversations?
Time frame.
Time, yeah, absolutely.
The people who are affected by the decision.
Yeah, absolutely. Maintain those relationships, right? Relationships, incredibly high stakes. A lot of times we think about just money, but when it comes to conversations and people, the stakes can be anything. It all depends on what do you value as a high stake. And so when you go to those crucial conversations and you're having that conversation with somebody who is not perhaps meeting the culture or the strong skills that you want, that is when the conversation can turn crucial. Unfortunately, when that happens, especially in performance review time, it's easy to fall into the trap of we feel like we can either be honest or we can be respectful, right? It's like, oh, if you don't say anything, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. I think we've all heard that phrase a time or two. But that is actually not true. There are ways we can be both honest and respectful when we're having those difficult conversations. And the first thing to think about is the mental game. So before you ever get into any kind of crucial conversation, it's important to ask yourself, what is it that I actually want out of that conversation? Is your first thought, I want to win, Doug, I'm going to win this conversation. They're going to fold, they're going to roll over, and I'm going to win this conversation. Okay, if you're the boss, I mean, that's one option, right? You can win the conversation, but what are you really getting out of that conversation? So if you think about a difficult conversation, maybe you've had recently or that you want to have, when you think about what is it that you want out of that conversation, what are some of the things that come to mind?
Just want everyone to get along.
Want to get along, absolutely. You want to maintain the relationship, right? Others?
A clear path to the next steps.
Yeah, you want to have that clear path. Yes, I love it. That is a great one, yes. Others, anything else that comes to mind? I'm guessing you probably want to be heard, right? If you're going into a conversation, you probably want the person to hear you. How about for that person? What do you want from the other person in the conversation?
For them to still feel respected after conversation is over.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great one. Want them to feel respected. Any others?
Have the space and freedom to open up and engage, honestly.
Yes, absolutely. So many times we go into conversation like, I want them to do something different out of the conversation. And if that's the mentality you approach it with, a lot of times we're going to set ourselves up to failure. What we really want out of those kind of difficult conversations is we want to establish the space where we feel safe sharing what our dialogue is. We want the other person to be able to share their dialogue as well. And it's only when we can get into that pool of shared dialogue, as Crucial Conversations calls it, that we'll actually be able to have an effective conversation that can lead to that path forward out of this. Now, as the leader in all of this, whose responsibility is it to set that up? I saw a pen pointed back at somebody back over here. Yeah, absolutely. It would be fantastic if everybody in your company, everybody on your team was like, yeah, I get this, we're all gonna, we're all gonna have great conversations all the time, but we know that's not the truth. When you are the boss, when you're the supervisor, when more leadership is expected of you, that is when it's incumbent on you to set that tone. And so you have to go first. You have to establish that where it's like, you know what, I'm gonna share my dialogue. I'm gonna ask how you see it, give them space to be able to share their dialogue as well.
There's some exceptions to that.
Sure. Go ahead.
Context, the situation's unsafe,
Hmm.
if it's illegal or unethical. Think collaborative tone may have to shift to being more directional.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm totally with you. And that is a time when you're like, no,
Some things aren't negotiable.
some things are absolutely not negotiable. And then you can go into a two-part conversation. You can end that like unsafe, illegal. We're ending this now. We're not doing this. And then, because that's gonna be an emotional event too, right? Emotions are gonna start to run high. Later on, you have the follow-up conversation of, okay, so we had this event. Let's talk more about this. So hopefully you can prevent that in the future. Yeah, thank you. That's a great point. It was Kevin, right? Kevin, thank you. Yeah,
Yeah,
Great
that is lines up with what you're saying right here, so the clarity of your intent changes. So if you know what the end result of this crucial conversation needs to be, you can establish it by doing a checklist prior to the event.
mhm. And thank you for adding on to that. The intent is huge. So what do you want out of this conversation? And if it's truly one where it's like, okay, I don't need to have a specific outcome, then curiosity is your friend, right? You can be curious, you can explore this, but if it sounds like, nope, somebody can get hurt here, we need to stop this now, that's when you need to step in and have that clear intent. Absolutely. Okay, so once you've established a strong mental framework, now it's time to be a little bit more flexible. Who in here has taken a DISC assessment? DISC assessment, a few people. Give me your DISC style.
Dominant cautious.
Dominant cautious. D, is the D more the dominant?
He's high.
High D, okay. Some more? Any other DISC styles?
And, SNC.
S and C, all right.
That's the best one. No, there's no best one.
I'm moderately inclined S style, but I have a weird offshoot towards action, so I'm an
Right.
outlier in a lot of ways. Okay, so. Any others, DISC styles? We have a D and I'll say S/C. I think there's a couple of people.
I was, like a chameleon, just kind of high on everything, so,
High on everything.
yes.
Oh.
And I took it again, scored similarly. Like,
You're the connector style. That's what I like to call that. You're the connector style of all of them. I love it. So the second thing you can do when you're going to the difficult conversation is read what the other person's style is. Maybe you know it, maybe you don't. But if you know what your style is, and you know what generally the styles tend towards, you're usually able to read that. So people that are higher D style, they're like that more direct, right? Higher I style, they're the more positive, outgoing. They're the like, let's get everybody together and go have a drink after work and go have a great time. The S style, they're the more steady, the more, let's bring everybody together, make sure everybody's heard. And the C style is much more that data-driven style. So the second piece is understanding the person's style, to be able to flex to that. So for a D style, someone is coming to you and wanted to have a difficult performance conversation about why you are not meeting the soft skills and the culture of the organization. Josh, how would you want them to approach you?
Obviously respectful.
Respectful.
But definitely, you know, for me personally, more direct, obviously. I'd like them to come at me and not kind of beat around the bush, just say, what's going on? How can we fix it? What's the solution?
Yep.
Yeah.
Direct to the point, like, tell me how I can move forward and do this better.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. We're gonna go do it. Yes, absolutely. Take action. I love it. Do we have any I styles? So for I styles, those are the ones you wanna have that kind of positive, think positively about this. How can I put a positive spin on this? And also, how can I be engaging? How can I really bring this person in and think about the outgoing nature of that I style? So flexing into that. For the S styles, this is more that steady, making everyone heard. So if you think about D versus C and S versus I, or excuse me, do I have that right? I versus S. The I and the S styles, you're gonna wanna set aside probably more time. Because they're gonna wanna talk to you more, they're gonna have more conversation along those lines. With the D and the C style, you're probably not gonna need as much time. For the D especially, all right, we're gonna solve this, we're gonna move forward. The C style, you may actually have to do this in two parts. Because one, they're very data driven usually, but two, they're also internal thinkers a lot of times. So you need to step away and come back. So if you have a C style, that difficult conversation, make sure you provide them data, you know, on these specific dates at these specific meetings, this is how you displayed this. Right, all right, hey, do you wanna keep talking about this now, or can we come back and talk about this another time? So you might wanna have that two-part thing. So being able to flex based on the person's disc style and your disc style can really set you up for success in those performance conversations.
That's exactly the point I want to make. I've learned different, they've got multiple different types of tools to use. When I came up to the ranks, it was analytical, amiable, expressive, and driver.
Social skills.
Yep.
Social style, yeah.
I'm gonna take my team through something like this, but there's two parts to it that are most important to me. One is obviously understanding your style. But that flex or versatility is the term we use. Being willing to expand their versatility to talk to one another, especially with problem solving. That's what I want them to get out of the training, those two things.
Yep, absolutely. And we all have all parts of the styles in there, right? It's just, you know, we tend towards one, so.
And you obviously have a backup. You're stressed, there's a backup style. So I've seen that.
So
People are probably going to it right now at the labs.
what's your primary and backup style, if you don't mind sharing?
It's evolved over time. I'm not used to these terms, but I was driver analytic,
Driver
or
and,
analytic driver, so typically analytic or steady, I guess.
CD, yeah.
Yep.
And then, or maybe logical, I guess it's, I can't tell what these are.
Yeah, CD,
The
yeah.
backup mode is driver, that's got a problem solved, or it's urgent, and then get into driver mode
yep,
instead of coaching.
yep. Thank you very much for sharing. And I will say these terms are not the specific disc terms. I put these words up here to think in terms of communication. So these aren't your official thinking in disc styles there. So yeah, adapt how you listen to others, and then flexing your style really helps to reduce that defensiveness. It lets the other person know that you are thinking about them. You're thinking about how they are part of this conversation. So don't just look through your own lens, but look through their lens as well. All right, we're getting close to wrapping up here. One more partner reflection. You may have already thought about this, but think of a difficult conversation you want to have. Ask yourself, with that conversation, what do I really want out of this? Think about, do I know what their disc style is, or how can I read their disc style? And then get back in that partner group and share how you would plan to approach that conversation. So let you do that, think about it for a minute, a couple minutes to discuss. We'll come back, share any insights, and then we'll wrap things up.
So here's something that's like personality.
Yeah, right.
Taking forward, thinking. Some. Yes.
They're a little more. And it'll be a collaborative. So it's a long time. Well, like what it's been about it. So I need.
Yes.
You gotta have. So I made it. I think they're like.
Some of the challenges.
That's my biggest problem is. I'm not saying. I checked down. To bring in my knowledge, why I'm.
I don't actually.
We're just curious, it's like,
It's weird. Going in there, but brilliant.
That's not how they operate. So that's where I make.
All right, let's go and bring it back so we can wrap things up. Get everybody out of here on time.
Yeah.
Because I can work it in. Steve's like,
So group in the back corner, any insights or aha moments as you were talking about your conversation? Sharing with your partners back there about how you would approach it?
I could probably be sending out or looking up this disc style test.
Nice.
I haven't done that one yet, a couple other ones, but figure out my team styles, so that way when I approach conversations, I'll be able to kind of know where they're at. I kind of probably have an idea, but I'm sure it will help when discussing and having these difficult conversations.
Great, thank you. And I will just put the plug in. Paul and I both facilitate this. So if you need help, we can help you out with. Well, here at the front, any insights or ahas?
No, I was, when I think of this, I'm like. Sometimes, again, because there's situations that happen in the workplace. And I'm always, one of the most recent ones, one of our managers got let go. And I'm like, that was a big question mark, because I was like. Because I felt like he was really helpful. And then out of nowhere, he got let go. So my biggest question was like, well, what line did he cross? Because that conversation hasn't been had in the office yet, you know, with the owner. Just that big question mark is there. And so me as, I don't know what, you know, disc is, I haven't had that assessment yet, but I'm just like, I know that everybody must be going through something, you know, again, if the owner obviously cut him loose, then he must be going through something as well. And then whoever made that decision that crossed the line was also going through something that obviously caused him to do that. So you really have to assess the whole entire thing. And so, I don't know, just thinking about situations in the office.
That's a great point. You never know what's going on behind the curtain.
Yeah.
Like the Wizard of Oz, you only see the front, you don't see the back.
Yeah.
It's actually pulled back, so having a
Yeah.
conversation.
But I will also look into this as well. It's, because I don't know what it is.
Yeah. Happy to chat also, if you just want to chat this.
Yeah.
sometimes. All right, other groups, you're off the hook, because I want to get us moving along here. So final word just on conversations. No conversation is going to go perfectly. But when you have your heart and your mind in the right place, you're more likely to set yourself up for success. And when you lead with clarity, empathy, and adaptability, that's really the trifecta that will help you to have more effective conversations there. Okay, so I've stolen this from Paul. Actually, I guess we're doing this together, so I didn't steal it from Paul. But one of the things that we like to do is to go around to each person and have them share one takeaway, just one thing that they take away from today, Start.
Or seen answered.
Yes.
My takeaway was right at the beginning where you said, or somebody said that when there's a departure of an employee, that's a new season.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of like, oh, aha.
Thank you.
I like the idea of looking at it as an ecosystem. Again, we're all different, we all play different roles. You know, scripture tells us we're all different body parts but we're all essential to that entire body, and so nobody's more important than the other, everybody's needed, and so that ecosystem needs to work together to function.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I like that one as well, but I'm gonna research the disc skills because I'm curious which one I am.
Cool. Yeah.
I like how you pointed out that Paul had his sleeves rolled up, so you rolled yours up. He didn't like that, so he was
Thought we were talking about that on here.
That's Beer kicked on.
For me, I would say it's really this onboarding and looking at it again in a different light, because we're meeting exactly the expectations of the company, but there's a lot more that I could do as a manager of the offices in order to make it a more engaging and valuable experience for people.
Onboarding was cool, gonna look into that, but the part about how every time you introduce a new member to your team, it changes your team. And I'm trying to be very intentional about introducing different personalities, different profiles to our team to provoke us. And we've recently done that by introducing some direct people to our collaborative team. And that's created some tension, but it's just an opportunity to learn a new way of doing things.
Yeah. Cool.
Thing. Yeah.
Ditto, love it.
Yeah.
I like the team values, like creating one for your specific team, like the company has one, but then like, what is your team specifically want? They want to use that in the next like team meeting and come up with some. I think it will really help a strong culture for our department.
Nice.
There's so many, you guys, thank you very much, because there's a lot that I'm gonna take away, but I think first one is the one-on-ones. So as a leadership within our company, one of our core values for the company is building enduring relationships. And if we're not building those relationships internally, we can't build them externally.
Right.
So I love that.
Cool, thank you.
I do like the onboarding decision, having being squared away with that, because that's one of our biggest problems. I mean, it's very, very chaotic. Another thing that's huge, he had said it earlier, is we do disc profile with everybody that comes into our dealership. Before we hire you, I need to know who you are. My biggest problem is I haven't utilized that at its greatest lengths. I haven't implemented that, you know, like having the high, and I'm a high C, I apologize, I meant to say high C. High D, high C. So when I get an I or S in there, I'm just like, I have no clue. Why are you not thinking like I'm, it's very, very straightforward. It's very logical. But I need to be able to slow that down, to remind myself that everybody is different and everybody is equally as important as the next person. And it's not that they don't understand me, it's that I don't quite understand them. That's the real problem.
Yeah, not right or wrong, just different, yeah.
Different, right, yes.
I'm in the season of change, so I took away two nuggets. One is I've just extended an offer and I want to take advantage of some of those onboarding techniques.
Cool.
But also take advantage of the season of change, and like I mentioned earlier, we as a team go through this whole understanding how we communicate in person and just get off to a fresh start.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything on sale?
Yeah, actually. People said that the new hire welcome kit was helpful. And then someone asked if the disc assessment is free for employees to do. Is that something they can access for free?
There are free ones.
I don't know of a free one now. Tony Robbins used to have a free one, but I think he pulled it back.
And then a couple other people said they're intrigued by the idea of mapping employees to figure out who's best fit.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, love it.
What other questions do you have?
Yeah.
Good question.
Yeah.
So back to the seasons, when you hire lose somebody, lose season. What do you do when, like with interns or temporary employees in general? Like, how do you take that into account?
So I'll go with the garden analogy here. So with interns, you can think of them as the part that you plant in between other things that are there all the time. So like if you have your garden and you're like, okay, I have all of these, I'm gonna say, I'm gonna get this wrong on plants, but I've got all my tomatoes, and I've got my carrots here. Okay, well, I need a little bit of color in here. I'm gonna plant some marigolds on the side, but I know they're not gonna be here the whole time. So how do I plan for them not being there the whole time? And so I think when you're thinking about interns, just thinking about how they fit in that temporary space, but also how are they gonna impact, how do you want them to impact the culture of your organization? So a lot of times with interns or with temporary employees, they can be a great temporary bump to your organization. If you're like, hey, you know what, we need some new energy and some new drive. I've worked with Department of Energy for over 20 years. And interns, when they come in the summer, they've got, this fresh energy, and if things are stale, that's a great way to bring that new energy into your team. And so a great way to think about it is, how do you want them to impact your team? Do you want them to come in and bring that energy in there? Do you want them to have a specific skill? And then also, what is your team like right now? Like if you have an intern and you're like, man, this great college intern that come in with a ton of energy, but our team's really dragging right now. Well, is that going to be a good experience for both sides there? So what do I want to do with that person? Do I actually want to bring somebody in? Just stepping back and asking those questions. Did that?
Yeah.
I'd probably add on there, you still want to give them an experience, the onboarding experience, because they might work for you long term, you never know, right? And even now, they would still go, that was a really great experience at STCU. Like, they really made me feel special when I came in. So I think you still give them that, but you probably have your own little intern handbook, which is an abbreviated form of the full-blown thing. And you want to give them an experience. You want to give them a taste of all the different experiences in their role, so that they have a taste of it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Hang on, Zoom, or not. So I have a couple questions.
Yeah, please.
And maybe this will.
Please.
Well, then this is called Ask the Experts, because we get to ask some questions now until we're done at the 4:30. So I really like I wrote down a couple of things when you were talking about you were saying, if you don't have a budget for a book, you can download stuff or whatever. We did this, we had a goal this year, we were listening to 25 TED Talks in 25.
Wow.
That was our thing. And so every 2 weeks, somebody else comes with a TED Talk, and then we listen to it, and it was supposed to be about some of our values, but maybe give us other ideas about how, you think about a staff meeting, or just your either a retreat or just your weekly check-ins. How do you as a leader incorporate keeping at the forefront all three of these skill sets? Like, what are practical ways at a staff meeting to address the soft skills, but also the technical skills? And like, are we on track and all of the work, are we doing this? Are we organized? It's like, there's so much. How do you practically integrate all of this into weekly dialogue with your team?
Want me to take it?
Go for it.
Stories are the number one tool. I think practically you can't. Like, it's impossible to bring all of those in because of the staff meeting. You probably have lots of other things you're trying to cover as well, just the basics of running the organization. But the more of the stories you can keep an eye on, and so if you, as the supervisor, basically just listening to the organization, keeping an eye out for stories that emphasize the technical, the organization, and strong skills. I'll start using strong instead of soft. And then just bring those up, just like share a story of something that happened. That can be really impactful to helping to reinforce what you want out of that group.
I'd also say you could, in their IDP for the year, they would have a soft skill goal, a organizational goal, and a technical goal. Like, technical might be learning Microsoft Excel tips and tricks, you know, if it applies to their job, organizational goal could be a time management one, and then soft skill ones are somewhat, I need to get better at communication, I need to be better at listening, I need to be better at, so then you're keeping that person accountable, they have to go find trainings, find, books on that, find a mentor on those areas to beef up, so each person's working on their own. As a staff, you could rotate, I'm just thinking you could rotate those three, like this month, we're gonna do a soft skill focus and bring in a guest speaker, the next one, we're gonna do a book on organizational skills. It's gonna be hard to balance them, like you said, to give them all equal credence, but I think you could touch them all throughout the year.
And also maybe think about what is it that your organization needs most? Like, where are you out of balance? Is there something that you really think, hey, we can go to the next level as a team if we focus on this area? And take the next 3 or 4 months and focus in on that, and then assess where you are, and then maybe shift your focus to something else.
It bonds the team together to have that singular focus, like, we're all gonna do better at AI, that's the big buzz thing right now, right? We're all gonna try to use it in a different way and come back together and have a scrum or whatever they call it, we're all gonna work on this together and trade great ideas on it.
Thanks, this has been a big help. Sure.
Thank you. Thank you.
So can we talk about transplanting a little bit? So
Yes.
in the garden analogy.
Yes. I love metaphors now.
So in the culture, right, you have somebody that takes on a new role
Okay.
and then you backfill that role. But that person never quite leaves that role, right? You know, well, why are you doing it this way? Why are you doing it that way? Well, that's not the way that we've done it for the last 50 years. Well, maybe that's why you brought me in and you moved over here. So having this discussion though, having that full, how do you manage that transplant situation? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Do you have a thought off the top? Okay,
I think,
so one of the things, and this can be really hard to do, and it might be a little weird, is you can essentially have a wake for your past role. Seriously, like if you, and this happens a lot if you have a person who's moving from an individual contributor to a leadership role. It happens a lot where they want to continue to be the individual contributor. Once you move into that supervisor role, you essentially have to say goodbye to a lot of the person you were. Don't say goodbye to what made you successful, you just need to use those skills differently. But in order to truly move on, you have to say goodbye. And one of the ways you can do that is to essentially have like a wake. And just say, hey, you know what, this is what I was doing before. I'm saying goodbye to that. I'm celebrating what happened in the past and I'm moving on to this next thing.
So how do you convince that person that that's what they need to do? Is not doing the whole.
That is a great question.
I mean, and in all honesty, I mean, because and I see it in a lot of places, in a lot of discussion, it's not just, you know, in my company or in, you know, my husband's company, he goes through transplants a lot, you know, and so he has to deal with that all the time, and it's like, well, you know, now you're in this role, but this person keeps telling you how to do your job.
Sometimes you're kind of cheating that new person out of the opportunity to grow and get better at that position. Right, if somebody's continuing to look back and throw in their input, it's not fair to the higher they.
Well, how do you mitigate that?
There needs to be some sort of clarity.
Yeah.
When that switch point happens.
Yeah, I'm a big transparency person, right? So I think I would just put the elephant in the room right on the table and just saying, so I'm feeling that you're still hanging on to this. I don't feel like I have full freedom to run. I really appreciate all that you've done to contribute to this position. But now that tether is still there, could we have a relationship where I say a code word like baton, you know, like baton, which means like there's been a baton pass. And that shows that I feel like you're sort of raining on my parade right now. And then that's sort of your clue to say like, okay, I'm sorry, I need to be back. Or could I say, can I come to you for help if I need it? Which of course would delight that person and be like, yay, sure, you can come anytime. I think I would call it the elephant in the room. Yeah.
Thank you.
And I was just gonna, just to add to that, I think convincing that the impact that has on the person who's replacing even yourself, you're not fulfilling your role if you're
Yeah.
dragging yourself back.
So good.
You're also affecting the team. They don't know who to turn to.
Yes.
So you can point out the negative aspect, but I think if you do that a lot, if you find that that's kind of the way your organization works, is that kind of transplanting, promoting from within. I think you almost have to formalize a process of doing that, so that it's the same every time, and it's clear. When we move you, this is what happens. And not just leave it up to, well, I hope they'll take well.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's sort of the
That's a
wake
great
concept.
suggestion.
Yeah,
That's sort of the
very
wake,
sort of.
yeah, cause when I let my child go to college, there was a letting go that I personally did when he walked through the arch, and then all the other freshmen greeted him, "Ah!" and I cried. That was my not like you're done, but it's like I poured all the values into you. Now you're on to your next stage of life. It was a formal passing of the torch, right? So yeah, I like that.
I'll just continue adding on to that. I think the more for that, when that happens a lot, the more you can formalize that, the better. The more you can make, I won't say a big deal, but make it a fairly big deal, walking through the arch, going to something different, because that'll help people to make that transition of, I am now doing something different.
Thank you.
Can I ask one more question?
Go for it.
What about, like looking in the future, we've got managers and CEOs, we've got people on Zoom here as well. Just looking at the future, what do you think are the things that are gonna be most important, and maybe from two lenses, from the leader's lens of the skill sets we're hiring, but also if people, we all work, so we're workers as well, or, we have people from companies that maybe aren't in leadership, but they work, like what are these skill sets that are gonna be like maybe 10 years, 5 years down the road, kind of in the next frontier?
I'm definitely say agility, being able to adapt to the changing frontier is gonna be number one. I mean, if you are unable to adapt, you're gonna be left behind. They say it's like you'll be run over on that. If you don't keep running alongside the train, right? You'll be on the track and you'll be run over. So agility is definitely number one. Having that attitude of adaptability, like, okay, we're gonna figure it out. We've never seen that before. But we need to have adaptive leadership during these times. Technical leadership is like, oh, I know how to do this. This is how we always solve it. Okay, so that's great. Most of us can do that. Adaptive leadership is, oh, we haven't seen this before. We're gonna figure this out. We're gonna collaborate. We're gonna bring people together. We're gonna research best practices, and then we're gonna implement some, and then we're gonna iterate off of that something, whatever it is. So I think that'd be my number one skill. What else do you think?
Adaptability was absolutely the first thing that popped into my mind. The second one is being able to, from a technical skill, maybe it's organization as well, being able to work in conjunction with AI tools. To be able to amplify what you're doing already and to be able to work in ways you hadn't before. So if you are not already working with AI tools, just start playing. You can sign up for free, just start playing with them, start doing all kinds of crazy things, figure out how you can do things better with the AI tools, because it is what you need to do right now in order to be successful. I play all the time. I use them all the time. I actually have I call it Bizarro Garth. Anybody know Bizarro? Anybody know Bizarro Superman? No, all right. I used to read a lot of comic books. So Bizarro Superman is Superman, but from his own universe. So everything is backwards and upside down. And so what I did is I fed into ChatGPT. That's my main hub. All of my personality assessments that I've done. There's like 7 or 8 different personality assessments. And I said, I want you to be the anti-me. I want you to be Bizarro Garth. And so anytime I'm doing a project or working on a new idea, I'll call in Bizarro Garth and I'll have Bizarro Garth evaluate this idea. So it gives me the complete opposite side, because I'm an ENFJ when it comes to the Myers-Briggs type. I'm a moderate fine S style. I got a whole bunch of all the different personality assessments. I think I'm an otter / golden retriever from the Paul's personality styles.
Yep.
So I fed all of that in, and it will give me the exact opposite. And it gives me a broader perspective of what I would want to be thinking about. Because I have one point of view, I see the world through a lens, it helps me to see the world through a different lens. So AI tools would be the other one that I would highly encourage everybody to start using right now.
And I hope it's not a cop-out, but the soft skills really are the strong skills. They're never gonna go away.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, AI is gonna be able to take over many jobs and make things better, but your ability to make relationships with people and to empathize and listen and be a good communicator is never gonna go away. You're always gonna be coveted on any team if you've got those soft skills.
And I think what we're gonna see happen, I just read an article about IBM where they had, laid off about 8,000 people because they were gonna automate everything and use artificial intelligence. And now they've hired back at least that many, if not more, but in different roles. And I think that's what we're gonna see happening over the next few years, is we're gonna see dramatic shifts in the types of jobs. And so being able to be adaptable, to be able to build relationships and have those soft/strong skills, and also being able to work whatever new tools are out there. I mean, I know my parents could not have foreseen, nor could I, have foreseen the tools that we're working with today. I mean, when I started working, there was no way I would have thought about being able to work remotely. And now I love working remotely. It's my favorite thing in the world. And so we never know, 5 years from now, the tools are gonna be totally different than we have today. So be adaptable, be able to learn those new tools.
I have two things. One is a plug and the second is an actual question. Plug really quick, Google has an AI class. If anybody's interested, we can get you a Google certificate, access to a Coursera online class. Just let me know. I'll get my
Nice.
business card. It's also good for your teams too, where you're looking to get a bunch of people in. The second is my question to you. In a past leadership training I had where they were talking about team development or personal development, if people aren't interested, kind of leave them behind because they're not worth the effort to try to get them motivated to improve themselves. What is your thoughts on that?
I mean, the hard words that I'll say is to stop investing in people that don't wanna grow. I mean, at the end of the day, you're gonna pour into a leaky cup and it's just all that training, all those dollars are gonna be spilling out the bottom. So at the end of the day, now you're gonna work with people, you're gonna coach them, you're gonna give them second, third, fourth chances, right? Gonna give them the benefit of the doubt, but at the end of the day, if they're going the opposite direction as you, I wouldn't continue to invest in them. They're holding you back.
The only add I'll have is to have that conversation with them about, is it just that they don't wanna grow into a new role? Or is they just, I like where I am and I'm steady and I wanna continue to do a great job where I am, but I don't wanna grow? Cause if you have those people in your organization, they're invaluable. Like they are the backbone of what make organizations go. Those people who show up every day, do a fantastic job and just don't ask for anything else.
Yeah, not everybody
So-
wants to be a
Not
leader,
not
or
everybody
should be a
wants to-
leader.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
just trying to find out why. That's the
good.
key, is like, if they're totally going opposite, and they're like, no, I'm not gonna do anything different. I don't care what you're doing in the organization. All right, then you need to have that hard conversation with them. But just like, you know what? I like what I'm doing. And I wanna do this for the next 15 years. Fantastic. How can I support you in doing that?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, well, this has been fantastic. So I knew today was going to be really incredible. So please help me thank both Paul and Bob. To have people in our community come and share their knowledge with you in this program. So thanks, you both have helped us out a lot before. Please do this QR code and give us your feedback on this program. We're always trying to improve this, look for new topics, look for new experts as well. Please help me also thank STCU, Bill and Jessica. This is free to anybody, and again, it lives on the World Wide Web, so you can watch any of these that have been taped in the past. And next month we'll be here 1 month from today. I'm not sure what the topic is. I wish I knew, but I'm pinch hitting, so I don't want to make anything up. It will be phenomenal. And it'll be another topic on this workplace stuff. So again, we're finishing the year. We've got 2 more months of this. So come back and join us, tell your friends, or share this again. Thanks so much. And thanks all of you for coming today. Hopefully it was worth your time.